Awesome. I want to welcome everyone into the NECAT PEG studios for our member meeting and holiday party for this evening, including welcoming everyone, including our 103 new members for 2024. Let's give a round of applause for that. That's 103 new people that have joined NECAT and started making shows with us here. Again, I'm Cameron McCassin, the studio manager. Sam and Eric are here with me tonight in panel. We also want to welcome Hannah from NPL's Production Services in the booth taking care of us tonight. Give a big hand for Hannah in the back. And I believe Sam, who is one of our members, is back there helping out tonight as well. Big thanks to Sam on that. Larry Jurek here in the corner from NPL is with us. You'll hear from him a little bit later this evening too. Let's see. We want to invite everyone here to invite them to grab a library card. Everything that you've been hearing tonight as far as our music go is provided by Hoopla, which is a free service that you can get when you have a library card to stream movies, listen to music, read all kinds of books, and listen to audiobooks for free. So if you don't have your NPL card, go grab one for sure. We want to thank our NECAT board for our refreshments tonight. Like I said before, there is hot coffee, hot chocolate, soda, I think some pastries and stuff like that back there. I also want to thank Chuck Beard from Metro Arts for swinging by and picking up the coffee for us, kind of last minute, saving the day on that one. And then we've got, we want to thank the Nashville Predators Foundation, who had given a grant earlier this year for us to make a public service announcement with Friends Life. Friends Life, some of you may have heard in past meetings, they're a group of people with cognitive disabilities that has become a NECAT for a little over a year now. We've been teaching them how to make different things in the studio space, and we made this with them, and we want to show it to you real quick. So let's dim the lights and roll on that.
What's NECAT?
A place for anyone.
Sure. NECAT Network.
That's Nashville Education Community and Arts Television.
Everyone knows that.
But did they know that NECAT runs 3 television stations that serve counties all over Middle Tennessee?
We know that! But what a lot of people don't know is that NECAT is also an active community partner.
That's right. We're more than a television network. We love Nashville, and we love supporting as many organizations any way we can.
From Friends Life to Nashville Predators Foundation, NECAT provides studio access and training to help community organizations. So when you think of NECAT,
remember, we're way more than a television station.
We're Nashville.
Thank you, Predators!
So let's give a round of applause for Friends Life and the National Predators Foundation for donating the money and the time to do that. We had a lot of fun with them. You're really the first public audience who's got a chance to see this. It'll start airing on television tonight. So, jumping in here, I want to talk a little bit about the studio report and kind of just some things that have happened this year. We are at the end of our year. We like to kind of count all the heads and know where things are landing, just so you kind of know how you have contributed. But studio bookings this year, we had over 286 member-produced sessions in 2024, totaling 1,430 hours of studio production. That's a big deal. That's all of you guys coming in here, making shows with us, and helping us get all that stuff on the air. We had 116 people took Production 1 class this year. So, again, I told you we had 103 new members, and we had about a dozen people that came back through for Production 1. So if ever, as a member, you want to kind of get just a refresh on that, you're welcome to do that at no extra cost to you. We had 59 new producers that came through Production 2 class. Those are 59 brand new people who have the ability now to book the studio, put shows on television at any point in time. And we had 49 people that participated in one of our specialty classes, like green screen and lighting, editing, all the audio class that Sam does here. And as far as people coming in the building, as of today, we have 2,890 people who have walked through the front door of NECAT that we've been counting that have checked in with us. We encourage you all to check in because these are the numbers we send back. It helps us get our funding. We let people know how many people are using the studio, and that in turn lets the people at the mayor's office know that, hey, we want to keep this going, and we want to make sure that we get everything that we need for that. So please sign in and have your guests sign in when they come in. As far as episodes go, we had 315 new run episodes of television for the quarter. That's people that have turned in shows or shorts or all the different things that have came in. And for the year, we had 885 new run episodes of television year to date. Think about that for a second. That's like 2 episodes a day of something that is brand new that's come on average. at NECAT. That's a big deal. We want to congratulate Bam Ely. Is Bam here tonight? Or anyone from the Sit-In Mixtape? We'll make sure to let them know that we do this. But Bam was given a Best of the Nashville Scene award for the Sit-In Mixtape, which is a really cool musical that they did here at the studio space that talks about the civil rights movement in Nashville back in the 1960s and the sit-in movement that happened here in Nashville. True story, they turned it into a musical. It's really cool. We're airing it on NECAT once or twice a month at this point. So if you haven't seen it yet, check local listings. Be sure to check it out. And we'll, if anyone has a question about when that is, ask me after. We'll look it up, and I'll tell you the next time it airs. We had 10 brand new member-produced shows this quarter. So these are people that have basically got involved and got their show on for the first time. We had Jenny Ann No with Grow. We had Marita Hill with The Read. We had Joni Downey with Characters of Character. Our Wishing Chair Productions from Nashville Public Library did a series of shorts called Spooky Tennessee. Marion Mackenzie Pyle did Nurse Freedom Network, Standing in the Gap. Brian Myers did the Morristown Voices documentary. Tanisha Douglas had Don't Forget Your Pearls. Friends Life did a showcase. Chuck Beard from Metro Arts is a compilation, and we've got a new show coming next year from Metro Arts, which is going to be really cool that you'll hear a little bit about later. And then Donnie Clark had a documentary called This Is My Song that we premiered here at the NECAT Studios. Was that 2 months back at this point?
Yeah, 2 months.
And they had, I want to say, 70 people.
75.
75 people showed up that evening to see the movie here in the studio, and it begins actually airing on NECAT this next week, I think, is when I don't have it in front of me, but soon, very soon, so you can check that out. Want to talk to you a little bit about some things that are going to be new in 2025. We've got a couple changes coming to the studios. We've been talking to some of you about this this last 6 months about what could happen and kind of the ideas that they kind of go into it. So I want to run through this real quick. And if you have any questions, we'll have a Q&A later. You can feel free to ask anything you want to ask about it. But do studio hours in 2025. Beginning in January of 2025, the NECAT PEC studio hours will shift from its current 12 to 10 Sundays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and our 10 a.m. Saturday, to a new schedule of Wednesday through Friday, 12 o'clock to 8 p.m., and Saturdays and Sundays, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. This new schedule is going to allow for us to have more hands-on attention from NECAT employees on shows being produced by our members. Let's see. The studio will remain closed on Mondays and Tuesdays as usual. We will work with all current bookings to accommodate needs as we move forward in this transition. Studio hours will remain flexible for classes and special events when necessary. This will make current 5-hour bookings into 4-hour bookings. All members will retain the option to book both bookings on the same day, on the same calendar day, for a total of 8 hours when available. Again, I want to reiterate, so that's Wednesday through Friday, we're here 12 to 8. Saturdays and Sundays, we'll be here 10 to 6. On Mondays and Tuesdays, we don't open recordings to the public, but I do schedule meetings and things like that by appointment. So if ever you want to come by and talk to me about a show or anything like that on Monday or Tuesday, just let me know ahead of time and we'll schedule it and make sure that we have time for that. Class hours and special events are subject to special hours. That means like if we have some kind of late night screening or a meeting like this that may need to go late, or classes that sometimes take 2 nights, we may take some extra time there as well. Switching to 4-hour blocks from 5 hours, but with 2 studio techs on hand more often. So what that means for you guys when it comes to that is you've always had usually Sam or Eric here to help you with your show in the booth. This is going to allow for them both to be here more often working on shows at the same time, because it won't be like one person in the morning and one person in the evening. There'll be 2 people here at the same time. We also want to announce, so the editing room is transforming into a podcast studio. And so that's going to, editing is still going to be performed and booked upon request in the same space, but we're going to have podcast options available for both audio and video. It's getting a total remodel that'll be open in January, so you'll be able to go in there, record an audio podcast or a video podcast that you can put on TV. Any of the smaller desk-type shows can be done in that room. And let's see, as opposed to just booking this big room and doing the same kind of thing in there. So if you need something more expansive, this room's always going to be available to you, but that one is too. So there is as opposed to before where you could only book one space and one person could be in the studio, someone could be back here recording and back there recording at the same time. So while we're going to be open a little bit less hours-wise, there's going to be more room for people to book because we're going to have more space open, which I think is a really cool idea. Again, this is going to be available to start booking in January. We're going to have more in-house shows in 2025. That's stuff that we produce here at NECAT, but we're always going to be looking for members to come in and volunteer to do all the different pieces of production on it. And you're going to have, say, opportunities to volunteer on all crew positions. you're going to have there's going to be a new show called NECAT Now, and part of what NECAT Now is going to be doing is we're going to be talking about different with like nonprofits and different organizations in town about things that are going on. But we're also going to leave room for NECAT producers to come on the show and talk about the shows you're making. So it's a talk show where you, like Becky, for instance, you could come on and talk to me and tell people about transitions. And from there, it's like we'll invite people to watch your show and talk about like what got you started and all that kind of fun stuff. So if you want to get signed up for something like that, talk to me later, and we're just going to put a list together, and we'll be booking times for people to come in and shoot that show with us. We're going to be doing more off-site productions, including live events, concerts, plays, all kinds of stuff like that. So we want you in the studio at all points in time, but if you ever had an inkling that you wanted to do more production outside the studio and wanted to learn more about that kind of stuff, you'll be able to volunteer, and we're going to give you some more hands-on experience in shooting out in the field, which I think is going to be really good for everybody. And, of course, you're going to be able to check out equipment and do that yourself, too. We're also going to be doing movie screenings of both modern and classic films in the studio, followed by talkback discussions and an upcoming book movie club that you can join. So basically, we're going to start a book club where you can read the book, and then we're going to screen the movie here in the studio, and then we'll do a show like this where people will be able to discuss the difference between the two. And we want you to come volunteer on those shows and get involved in that. I think that's going to be a really cool setup. But here's the great thing about this: when we talk about volunteering for shows, and you guys can all thank Larry for this. Was his great idea. But each 8 hours that you volunteer on any NECAT produced show, it's not your shows, but anything you're doing like one of these type of things, you get a free month on your membership. Okay, so it's like every time you come for a day, and if you're back in the booth on the show like this, you're going to get an extra month that you don't have to pay for, which is going to be really cool for some of you who volunteer a lot. You may not have to pay your membership dues for a very long time, and there's no limit on that. So every time you do it, you get an extra month just tacked on to the end. And you can share those, so if you don't want to use it yourself, we can give it to another member. We're also going to be having new promos for on-screen calendars to add to our concert calendar. Has anyone ever seen our concert calendar that we run all the time? If at any point, if you haven't seen it, if you're tuned into NECAT on the half-hour breaks, a concert calendar will pull up, and it's going to tell you everybody that's playing a show here in town. And that may be someone down at Nissan Stadium or Bridgestone Arena, or down, like doing a small show down at the end or the exit end, or even like a punk rock show in somebody's house. If they send it to us, we give the information of when it is, what band is playing, and when. If any of you play in bands and want to get on that, come talk to me afterwards, and I can tell you how you can email us your shows, and we'll make sure they get on the concert calendar. But in addition to the concert calendar, we were expanding that for different theater and arts community people. So if there are art shows, theater events, plays, and things like that, people are going to be able to find out on both the arts and education channels when and where those things are happening. So we want our NECAT members to submit those things as you find them. Last member meeting, we talked about Pet of the Week. We're still doing that, and I'll let Sam talk about that a little bit more later. But if you have a pet, we want you to submit a picture of your pet so we can put them on the air here at NECAT. And we also want to start asking all of you to start filming bumpers for us, because we want to start running those in different spaces. And what that basically looks like is next time you book your show, we can help walk you through it, but basically you're doing a version of it that says, "Hi, I'm Becky Bayer with Transitions. You can watch my show this day at 4 o'clock. And we'll put that on during different times of the day so people who don't know where your show is may see it somewhere. All of you are welcome to do that. We'll have a blanket version of it that you can just kind of fill in the gaps Mad Lib style, and it'll work. But if you want to write something that's more specific to you, if you film it and keep it under 30 seconds, we'll find room for us to program that. So just be aware of that as you make your shows. I'm going to pass the mic over to Eric at this point. He's going to tell you a little bit about classes and some gear updates we've got coming up.
All right. So coming up in this first quarter, our Production 1 class, we will have our class January 4th, February 1st, and March 1st. So if anybody wants to come back and take this class again, you're more than welcome to. We are currently changing out gear and adding new things. So if you want to come learn, I know Omika said she wanted to come back through it. So, and again, our classes you can book directly on the website. Production 2, we have coming up January 23rd and 24th and March 27th and 28th. Again, that is a 2-night class. So if you know anybody who wants to come and take it to produce their own shows, let them know. Green screen and lighting for this quarter, we have January 12th. This is going to cover everything in terms of different lighting gear, a 5-point lighting setup, and then how to green screen on the TriCaster. One of everybody's most asked questions on those things, and they realize how difficult it is. But it's a good skill to know and have if you want to use it on your show. And then editing class. This class does fill up really quickly. We only have 4 computers that we can use for this. So what we tell everybody is if you have a laptop and you want to come join us, you're more than welcome to do that. But if you sign up first and get one of those 4 spots, you're good to go. But we're going to cover everything on Premiere. So just basic cutting, audio editing, lower thirds, all the way up to multicam editing, color correction, different things like that. So some advanced stuff in there. It's a 8-hour class. We go slow, and you get to play with it the entire way through. All right, new gear. So Cameron talked about our podcast studio. So we have a new ATEM switcher that's made by Blackmagic. If you actually look over here on the green screen, that is actually going to be that's going to be most of the gear that's going to be in there. But that's the switcher right there. We have 3 PTZ cameras that will go in there, SM7B. So if you watch any podcast now, that's one of the mics that usually is used. And with boom arms on those. And we have an Allen and Heath QU16 that was donated to us by Brickstone.
Yes.
Yeah, by Brickstone Senior Living. It's a fun little digital console that we'll integrate into that, and it'll be a great thing for everybody to learn. We're going to be getting some more gear for some remote productions. There is a jib that is going to be ordered here shortly that will usually live in here in a small setup, but that will be able to be used on productions for stuff when we're going outside. We will be able to build it out longer, so that way we can do things like that. 2-way radios. So if you've been on a movie set and stuff, they always got radios. Again, that is something that will be able to be checked out. We are buying some music equipment. We are in Nashville, and it's weird to not just have instruments laying around. So we're going to have some instruments that will be able to be used and different things like that. And then some more lighting gear, so some 2K LED equivalent. We get asked about this a lot, about a hazer for this room, so we're going to get one of those and some other stuff. Make sure I hit all my points.
I've got one thing to add for you. So when it comes to classes, we had mentioned before that if you come volunteer at any point for 8 hours, you get a free month on your membership. We also have a new incentive that if you refer anyone to Production 1 class, and they take it, and they let us know that you are the one referring them, you will also get a free month on your membership for that. So please be out recruiting for people to come to NECAT. That's a good way to get new members to volunteer on your shows.
So sorry, I forgot. I skipped over that.
Worries.
So yes, when if you refer somebody, have them tell us that they referred you. We are going to add that in as a question on our registration forms online. So if they let us know, we'll make sure you get credit for that as well. Thanks, Cameron.
Yeah.
And then we are, between Christmas and New Year's, we're going to be closed to the public for productions. Sam and myself will be here. We're going to be building out that podcast studio as well as repainting the studio. It's been over 6 months now, I think. And so we're due for a facelift. We're looking for volunteers, so if you want to come help out, get your free month of membership. We'd love to have you. Hit us up at the end of the meeting today, and we'll get you on that list and get you more information for that. And that is it on mine. I'm going to pass this over to Sam.
Hello. All right, so back to classes. My audio class, our first one of 2025, is going to be February 2nd from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. since our hours have changed. We'll talk about basic sound terminology, how the ear works, different types of microphones, and what they're best used for. And then we are going to set up and mic a drum kit. We'll talk about how to mic some other instruments. We're going to get some hands-on time back with our audio board, our X32, and I'll show you a little bit of Pro Tools as well with that. So you can sign up online or through me if you would like for that class. The only prerequisite is the Production 1. Next, I'd like to remind you all of our NECAT Pet of the Week. If you have a pet of any kind, just send us a picture. You're going to scan the QR code up there. It takes you just a short survey, give us a little bit of information and a picture, and then your pet will be featured on NECAT. That will also be on our like every half hour, same thing as like the concert calendar. You'll see that every so often. Last week, you may have seen that we live streamed the Nashville Christmas tree lighting, and we'll also be airing the menorah lighting that is happening on December 30th. Those are filmed in partnership with MNN and stream live to our channels. They're a great example of the many more live events that we plan to film and live stream in 2025. We're always in need of volunteers for these events, and as Cameron mentioned earlier, for every 8 hours you volunteer for a NECAT production, you get that free month of your membership. With that in mind, one of our first big live streams of 2025 will be the Chinese New Year celebration on February 8th at Centennial Park. If you didn't have a chance to see the 2024 celebration in person or on our channels, we have a short video of what you missed out on.
If somebody can see it. Right. Let's give it up for Chinese Arts Alliance, everybody.
Yeah. So that was the 2024 celebration. If you would like to volunteer on the 2025, again, February 8th at Centennial Park, just let one of us know, and we'll make sure that you were on the list to help out with that one.
Yeah, and there's, like you say, Mayor Freddie O'Connell joined us last year. Khalil Colonna from WPLN was on the show. A lot of great people joined in. This one was at the fairgrounds. This next one is scheduled to be at Centennial Park, weather permitting. So we want to open up our Q&A at this point, take any questions from the audience. I do want to kick it off. I'm going to have Chuck Beard from Metro Arts step up to our microphone right over here, Chuck, if you would, while he's making his way over, just to kind of explain. This is a great opportunity. If you have any questions about the things we've talked about tonight or any questions about things we haven't talked about tonight, you're welcome to ask them here. We'll try to answer them to the best of our abilities. If we don't have a good answer for you tonight, I'll do some research and get back to you at a later date. But I want to have Chuck kick us off tonight because we have a new show starting here next year called Forge Ahead. That's in partnership with NECAT and Metro Arts, The Forge, a couple other fun people he'll tell you more about. But we want you to either come volunteer or be part of these live studio audiences. Chuck, take it away for us.
All right, cold take. I should have left the lights down. Yeah, thank you. Oh, first I want to say thank you to your crew because Chris, Sam, and Cameron, y'all are like everything about. It was easy to learn and take those classes, but it's just an inviting place to be here every time you walk in. It's just warm. So thank you.
Hey, Chuck, question for you. Do I look like a Chris? Because this is like the third time in like the last week that I've been called Chris. I'm not opposed. I'm just asking.
I think so. Sorry.
It's Eric.
Yeah, Eric. That's the man.
It's okay.
Yeah. That was the only time you weren't inviting, by the way. But that's okay. But no, so yeah, this kind of came together. I just kind of cold called or sent an email to Cameron, and thinking about 12 years ago, my wife and several other friends did a show called Nashville's Heart here, and we just did a compilation of videos and made kind of a TV show. And when I've been at Metro Arts for about 3 years now, and there's always a lot going on chaotically in Metro, and there's been a lot of emphasis on the arts chaos the last 3 years since I've been there, not because of me, but just kind of wanted to find the way to one of the joys that I've had in Metro is meeting other people in different Metro programs and how they serve the community. And NECAT was a natural fit to reach out to, and I had an idea of just how do we showcase more and tell about the arts from the artists and not just people making the decisions. And there's also, when you go to the bureaucratic kind of commission meetings, council meetings across the board, it's just like it's a lot of people that might not necessarily know the worlds that we as artists live in, and they're making decisions for the artists. So again, just finding ways to create spaces for artists to be the narrators and control the the narrative of the city while decisions are being made, and talk to Cameron and see what was even possible. And with the platform here, and he said instantly, he was like this as we were brainstorming things together, like what we could do here. And obviously it helps when he says, hey, you can take this class, like the production 1 and 2, like all of us have taken, and see if we're serious, if we're going to go get coffee before a show here to see if he will be a PA before he can be a host, I guess, and inviting. So the gist of the Metro Arts Forging Ahead is a monthly series starting in the end of January. We have Cameron's team here, so we got NECAT / Library. Then we have Metro Arts, which will be myself, I guess, with the co-host, and Big Fellow, who is representative of the Arts and Entertainment Council. So within those three, we kind of all know that the people that run Metro at different levels like it when we collaborate with each other. It shows that Metro is working, and we should be doing that more often in general. So this is an example of, we're going to have three different, I say artists on the side, because we have three different categories of artists that are going to be in every single show. One is going to be a Metro employee. So for the first show we did book, it's going to be Lauren Bufford, who's the executive director at the Parthenon, but little do most people know that she was also a co-founder of WXNA, and also is a guest DJ there, has her own show. So multiple talents, but she's the executive director at the Parthenon. And then somebody that's an independent professional, say like somebody who's an attorney that practices at their firm during the day, and then by night they're playing their own music. And then another example would be somebody that works at an arts organization, large, small, medium, or whatever. So it'd be like somebody that works at the Frisk Center that is a videographer and then does their own collage work on the side. So again, it's one of those things where everybody, even people that work with people, might not know that they have a passion for the arts and what they do in the arts community, but giving them that space to showcase not only what the work is that they do professionally, but also the art that they bring, and the fact that we could all pretty much go and live anywhere we want to, but the main reason that a lot of us and a lot of the artists that would be featured are in Nashville is because of the creative element. And it's just funny, when I walked in here earlier tonight, it's like, of course I know at least one artist in here. I used to sell Susie's book at my bookstore and some of her art. So it's one of those things where it's just like the Nashville that I treasure being a part of, and any chance that, especially to work with everybody here going forward, but to create a space where we're giving the voice to the artists to let them tell the story of what their world is like and what it's like to be an artist in this system. And then there's other people that are making decisions, the suits and the votes can get that perspective, a better perspective. And we're also going to have a live painter each show, so that'd be good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great show for people to come out and again, volunteer if you want to be on the production side of it, or if you just want to come mix and mingle and meet a lot of other cool artists. I think it's going to be a great room for that, because every one of these is going to be a live studio audience show. It'll broadcast on NECAT, and I don't know if we're supposed to say it, but the audio is going to air on WXNA radio. So there'll be a version of it that goes out to air. So if you have ideas for people who Chuck should talk to on that show, you should tell him after this meeting tonight, and put a bug in his ear about people he may not know that he wants to know. So yeah, thank you, Chuck.
And Eric's middle name is Chris, by the way. So I just want to full circle that.
It is.
Okay. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Chuck. Does anybody else want to step up to the microphone? Again, we love your questions, but we need you to step up into the light and the mic. I'll start calling on people otherwise, because I want to hear about your shows. Yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned a lot about volunteer opportunities at this meeting. And a lot of times I hear about volunteer opportunities because I'm on your email list. Is there some other method that I'm missing about finding out about volunteer opportunities? Is there some other place where you publish them? Or
Sure. So we have a private Facebook group that goes out to our members. Any member can join it, and we post anytime we need volunteers. But also any member that's in the group can post that they need a volunteer for their show, and at that point, meet the people. We don't assign people to shows. So for instance, if you don't like somebody else that's in this room, we're not going to make them come work on your show. It's up to you to decide if you want that. But I would say that's where the bulk of those things are happening. We do have on our website that you can sign up to, like if you want to do a specific task, like, hey, I want to volunteer, but I only want to volunteer as an audio engineer. Well, you can sign up to be an audio engineer that anyone that needs one can see a list and pick you out and get in contact with you and make sure it works out for schedule. But a lot of times, if you just let us know, like if you just say like, hey, I want to volunteer, but I don't know where the opportunities are. If you tell us the kind of thing that you're trying to learn or want to do more of, if you're like, I want to work on cameras more. Every time that someone comes in and asks for that, we're going to reach out to you and say, hey, do you have time on Wednesday night to come over and do these things? It really is just a matter of timing. And I think there's some shows in that have a lot of volunteers, and then some people that come in and like they just get along with themselves, maybe one other person, and then the crew that's here at NECAP. So
Great. Thank
Yeah.
you.
anybody else want to jump to the mic? Susie, good to see you, Susie.
Thanks. This is kind of a weird question. I must have missed a meeting, but I thought y'all were moving in January. So my question is, when you talk about painting this place and all that, are you talking about this place or the new place?
So I would tell you, when it comes to painting this place, we always try to paint the floor a couple times a year just to keep it nice and shiny and things like that. So this is what I can tell you that I know. There have been conversations. An architect has been hired for a new building, but a space has not been picked out as of yet. There are conversations that are happening with Terry Luke from the Nashville Public Library, as well as the mayor's office. And there was a NPL board meeting earlier this week where she said that she expected to have some news early next year, is what she said publicly. But I don't know anything myself personally that I can share.
So when you say you're going till March for this, that, and that, this will be here, right?
We expect it
So
to be
maybe
there.
in June it might be somewhere else, or it might still be here.
We expect this to be here a little bit longer. They've done a handshake deal, but they're still working on the pen and ink side of it, is what I would tell you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Questions? Yeah, come on, Becky.
Hello, I'm Becky Mayer, and I have a show called Transitions, and I've been doing it almost 10 years, actually. And one of my little pet peeves, everything is wonderful, everybody helps, and it's great. These rugs, oh my God. Is there any way to get these rugs clean? Because I drag them out, and then I go, oh, it doesn't really necessarily show up, but they're really filthy.
Yeah, so I would tell you the biggest purpose that they serve at this point is protecting the green screen from getting scuffed up, which is why they are where they are. That's why we leave them covered. That way, whenever people are walking, it scuffs up the green screen, so we have to paint it more often, which is why they're there. As far as getting them cleaned, I will have to double check to see if there is something within the facilities at NPL that we could get some kind of rug doctor over to do that. I don't have an answer for you on that right now because I don't have that in the building, and we don't have anything in the budget to pay for it. But if it is something that exists within the NPL facilities that we can get over here, I'd be happy to do that. Larry, any thoughts on that? He's writing it down, folks. So, Becky, ask again next meeting. Come back and ask, and hopefully they'll be clean.
Hey, and Becky, I'll let you know, behind this black curtain, is our nice rug. We roll it up after each production. But yes, that one does need to be cleaned as well. These ones over here are just thrashed in general.
Yeah, but I know I use that one and drag it out myself and everything.
Yeah, and if any member wants to donate a new rug, feel free to let us know. We'd be happy to take it.
Maybe we can get a sponsor that's a rug company or something.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Larry, write that one down too.
Welcome, welcome.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm one of the co-hosts on Bless Your Heart, and I'm going to be creating a new Harder News show next January. And I had a question about the podcast room. Do we know how many people are going to be able to fit in there?
So the goal is to be able to fit 4 people in there. So one table looking kind of at each other or spreading out along, all looking one direction.
Okay.
So that's the plan for that one.
Great. And will we be able to book the podcast room separate from this studio? Is there any plans to do that?
Correct. Yes, that'll be able to be booked separately. So the goal is to be able to do a production here while we're doing another one back there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the editing room still occupies the same space as the podcast room. So if someone is booking for editing, you wouldn't be able to do a podcast. But in general, it allows a lot more space to do it. And again, if you have more than 4 people, or you just need more room, you can do a podcast in this room. We're happy to do it, but this allows for 2 people to do 2 productions at once, which is something we've never had before.
Okay. Great. Thank you, guys.
Of course.
Everybody?
I heard the grumbling there, Omika.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Omika McNeil. I have a couple of shows, because I'm not going to mess with that. A couple of shows, Let's Have Conversation, and the Doctor Producer, as well as Brother to Brother. My question would be is that when I started out, it was Monday through Sunday. And the issue that I see or that I have when it comes to booking is that it's so many more producers that are being added, yet the days are, which is great. The days are short, and I understand it with the podcasting and things of that nature, but it still makes it really, really hard to get on the calendar. So is there at any point in time that at least one of those days
Sure.
that becomes opened up again?
So what I can tell you is that in the last 3 years, we have asked for more money in the budget from the mayor's office to allow for another employee to be in the space. It really boils down to a math problem of right now it's like we are on skeleton crew where if we're, it's like if Eric is covering the morning and Sam is doing the evening, unless they work every day, there's no, it's like they have to take time off, they have to take vacations. We want everybody, to have a happy, healthy life. I will tell you that I'm going to keep banging that drum every year. And so what I will tell you is when the time comes for that, go talk to your city council members here in Nashville. Let them know how important NECAT is to you, the kind of service that you're getting here, and why you think it's special in the community. Let them know that you want that, because to open more days, we have to have more people. But as it just hasn't been a possibility the last couple of years. Yeah.
But the goal is with like some smaller productions to push them into that podcast studio, so that way we can open up this studio more.
Yes. Anybody else? I'm going to start calling on people again because I may have things I want to hear from everybody. Like Mark Nacarato's here. Let's have him come up real quick.
We saw you trying to hide back there.
Mark from the Tennessee Screenwriters Association. They did a great program here just a couple weeks ago, and I would love him to tell you a little bit about what happened at that event over the weekend, and kind of because I know that's going to happen again in the year to come, I would assume. So, Mark, tell us a little bit about what you guys just did over with TSA.
Yeah, the TSA is a not-for-profit that was formed in 1988. We are focused on education and resources for people who want to be screenwriters or independent filmmakers. And back in, I guess, almost a month ago, back at the mid-November, we did an event called ScriptCom. It was a 2-day event, and we had some high-profile speakers. Our keynote speaker was a man named Alvaro Rodriguez, who was the writer of Machete, the movie Machete, and the From Dusk Till Dawn series, and American Rust, and all kinds of other, and several shows for Netflix. So we had panels all day with area writers. We're very grateful that Cameron was on one of our panels and did an amazing job. It was a panel on making short and short content, short films, and there were several other NECAT affiliated, the usual suspects.
Yeah, absolutely.
From Dare to Fail, and Ben Foster from the 54 Project. And that was a great practical panel. Cameron was moderating that and did an amazing job. And I saw a lot of, I only sat in for a little bit because I was all over in the rest of the conference, but I watched the replay on the tape that we had recorded. I'm going to talk about that in a second. And there was just so much enthusiasm. I saw lights going on in people's eyes, because these are normally people who are writers and they're more introverted, and they think other people shoot the stuff. And Cameron really laid out a great roadmap for, you don't have to just write. You could create your own content. Hollywood might not beat at your door to buy your screenplay. You may have to start making short content and grow out. And I saw a lot of interest in that, and I am hoping, and will do whatever I can. I just last week got elected as president of the TSA, and I'm going to do whatever I can to push that forward and try to get more of our members inserted into the production classes. And that's been a development for TSA as well. Over the last 2 years, we had a wave of our members that all came in kind of in at the same time and took production 1, production 2, and then we had a couple that came in later. And so we also do our own television show here at NECAT called Page to Screen. And we have some really good guests and workshops on that. And it's all been possible because of NECAT. And of course, Sam is always here to help us on our shooting nights. She's just an incredible resource. And the other story I wanted to tell real quick is when we were getting ready to do ScriptCom, we were about a week out, and we had always planned on having video and audio equipment to record the panels, because we had multiple tracks going on, and somebody might want to watch a panel but couldn't go to it because there was another one in the other room. So we had a plan to record all this content, and we were using another vendor, I'll leave it like that. And literally we were about 6 or 7 days out, and we found out of nowhere, we can't give you any gear at all. And I panicked and ran over here and found Eric, and
good callback.
and Eric was just Johnny on the spot, or Chris on the spot. And he immediately was like, we'll be able to take care of this. And we started, setting up the package, the cameras and audio and cables. And so, yeah, I thought we were out of the woods. Yay, go Team NECAT. And then our conference was on Saturday. And then on Friday, we had to go over and set everything up the day before at the venue and do a technical rehearsal. Well, we just were, our crew was sort of flummoxed by some of the gear. We hadn't used it before. And I had to call Eric up and said, please, could you come by? And so he was, and I'm certain he locked the building when he left. But
Sam was still here.
Yeah, okay. And then she got your back as usual. And so that's the thing. Eric was able to come out on his own, without any big problems, and came to the venue and helped us wire, and literally something that we had been working on for 2 or 3 hours and couldn't figure out. Eric was, it worked. So we were really grateful for that. And, I'm really thrilled about everything we've been able to do here at NECAT. And the crew here is amazing, and Cameron is just fantastic. And, we want to keep doing more in 2025. And I just want to say happy holidays to all y'all.
Yeah.
And thanks.
I will say I would recommend for anyone in this room that wants to learn more about writing for film, television, whether it be shorts, features, whatever it may be. If you've never written anything before, go join TSA, participate in the different events they do, because they have meetings every month.
Every week.
Yeah, it's like that you can get involved in and meet people. But I would also encourage you, they film their show here. It had been the last Wednesday of the month, but next year you guys are doing this quarterly. Am I correct in saying that?
Right now, that's the plan.
Yeah, and so anytime that they do those events here, come be a part of the studio audience, because you will trip over writers in this room, because it's just nothing but screenwriters hanging around. So
you'll trip over them because they're usually passed out. So.
That's it. But
for reasons we won't get into.
Come by and again, listen to the screenwriter that's on stage, but also meet all the screenwriters who are out in their crew and in their gallery, just because there's people doing amazing work. And again, like, collaboration is the name of the game. We want people working together. So it's like, if you're not a writer and you need a writer, go over there and do it. If you don't know how to write and you want to learn, there's also a great place to go over and learn. So thank you, Mark. Anybody else want to jump on microphone and ask a question? Yeah, please. Sure.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carlson Atkins. I am a art teacher here at, I'm at Lead Cameron. It's a charter. And I also have a nonprofit called the Enlightenment Film Academy, where we're teaching young students film. As a matter of fact, we do what's called a film club every Tuesday and Thursday, and I'm coming over from there to here. My students are doing some amazing work. I would love to have a screenwriter come out and teach them how to write because we're writing. We're doing a horror film. I don't know if you're all familiar with 60-second horror films, and we were going to compete and submit for that, but we got in too late. But the students still want to do a horror film, so we've just finished the second of a 3-part horror film called Headphones, and my students don't write well, and there's a whole lot of other stuff I'm doing. So if someone can come and help teach them how to write, would be amazing. We meet every Tuesday and Thursday from 4:15 to 5:30. And also, as I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about a show I want to do. I don't need a studio to do this. Just set up and show short films that students have made in the city. And Eric and I have talked about this before, how there's no emphasis on student productions here in the city of Nashville. And I'm not talking about college, I'm talking about high school. Yeah. Nashville currently has 5 high schools that have an audiovisual production studios, but they're not producing short films, and they're not showing them any at any of the film festivals. I went to the Nashville Film Festival this year. I went to the Independent Black Film Festival, and I went to the Indie Memphis Film Festival. Indie Memphis is showing student high school films, but not Nashville. And so what I would like to do is have a way in which we can make that work if we start showing short films on NECAT, just anybody's stuff. So I'm about to start gathering. I'm going to go to Script to Screen. They're not doing it anymore. So now it's on me to try to find a way to keep doing this and have students producing films and making mistakes, doing garbage work so they can be doing good work. And the sooner we start, the better off we are. So if anybody wants to get my information, and if you know any students who have student films, I need a whole lot of content if I'm gonna create a show, especially if I need a show for 22 minutes. I need a lot of short films because ours are like microfilms. When I say micro, we're talking about 2 minutes and less. So I need a whole lot of stuff. So if you know anyone who has that, I would love to start promoting student work here in the city. And one of the dreams I see, because I know that they do it in New York, they have a New York High School Film Festival for students. I would love to do that in Nashville. Right?
So I would point you in a couple different directions on this. J.R. Robles, who I don't think is here with us tonight, runs a great program called Dare to Fail, which was mentioned earlier. Dare to Fail is you make a 1-minute short film, and they do it monthly. Yep. They start back up in March, and I believe we have them in February doing a series of screenings of some of the best of this last year that has happened. I would again encourage you all to come out for those kind of things and see them. But in addition to that, so one of the things that we did here at NECAT a couple years back was we put this screen on the wall. And the reason that happened is because, above all things, I'm a filmmaker. That's where I started. I've been doing it for 20 years. It's important to me. I believe in independent cinema. I want to see it happen. And while I've had a lot of great opportunities in my career to do things, what I saw is everyone getting priced out of everything. There used to be a couple of great rooms in this city. Bongo Java had a great spot. There was a place called Cult Fiction Underground where you could rent the room for under $100 and you could fill it up with 40, 50, 100 people and screen things. That all went away. And all of the other partners that are in town, people like Regal Cinemas and Belcourt, who we absolutely adore, they're not built for these kind of programs because to rent those cinemas out costs sometimes upwards of $5,000 to $10,000. And that's just not something that high school kids can afford. So we offer this space for those reasons. Like I said, Donnie Clark was here. He screened his documentary. We could put about 100 people in seats in this room. You are welcome once you've completed your classes to book this room and use it as a screening space. You just have to let us know ahead of time how we can help do that. And again, turn it into a television program that we can put on the air for everybody to see. So, yeah, we're happy to help with that.
Oh, yeah, I do. I actually used to screen films over at the Springwater, if you can believe that.
Yeah, Springwater is another great room. Yeah, they don't do it over there anymore.
Yeah. Actually, they're middle school students. I'm teaching middle schools. Yeah.
But anyway, I know you talked about screenwriting.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, I'm the author of 7 books, and I'm just wondering if you're interested in teaching them about writing books that then can become film. I don't know.
I mean, sure. We've done a little adaptation. What happens I have a production class also in my 8th grade production class. What they've had to do is to create a story because they're used to narrative and prose first. So we'll write that story first, and then from there they'll create a script for it. It's been hit or miss on the success of that, but I love the idea of them being able to know how to write because that's what we're working on, and then that would help me with my administrators as far as how who run my art class, as far as the kids, as we talking about curricular, them actually learning how to read, learning how to write, and then comprehension. So then that crossover, yeah, for sure, for sure.
My grandson, 6 years old, was a published, he's 13 now, but I wanted him to write a book.
Sure, I would love that.
He's 6 years old.
I would love that.
I just asked him a few questions, and then and he's published on Amazon, Gavin's World, and he's been selling at least
That's amazing. One of the things I'm doing as an art teacher, we have a mural project that's coming up. I'm spearheading a mural project where I'm working with 10 local mural artists in the city. And some of you may know Donna Woodley, Dojo, Jose Vera. And what we're doing is the artists are going to create the murals. They're going to paint them. They're going to work with students in the school. And then after that, we're creating a book. And the students, other students in the ELA class, are going to look at the murals and then be inspired to create prose or poetry, and then we could create that book and then put that all together. And there's also going to be the biography of the students who worked on it, biography for the artists, and the artist statements, and the writing of their journey, because they have to keep the journal of the journey of being able to keep it. Because the part of it, too, is not only just the art part, but the business part, and teaching the next generation of mural artists in the city, how can you make money as an artist and eat in the city? There we go. We gonna get together, because I know somebody else want to get up wants to get up here and talk, but for sure. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I wanted to say that I started doing this years ago in church. I had a class, and we created a book, and the parents are going to buy it.
And the purpose of the book is to try to provide funding for the art program. So that's what we want to do. All right.
Fantastic. Anybody else want to jump on the mic, ask a question, talk about your show, anything like that?
Becky Mayer again, Transitions, Body, Mind, Soul. I was thinking, there's all these wonderful people that are here, and you're talking about all the different programs, and I just was like on the spot thought, wouldn't it be great if we had a program of the programs, like a little bit. Like there's so many programs, I have no idea, and I'm lucky to watch my own program. And there's so many programs, well, see me at 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And I know it's more work, and I thought, they need another staff person. But wouldn't it be nice if there's a gathering, and then here's a little snippet of this show, and this show, and this show. And you go, oh my God, wow, how cool, how nice. I'd like to, rather than me sitting in front of the TV the whole time, it would be nice to have a little snippet of that. Just putting that out there.
Sure. So, yeah, I'll give you a couple things. Again, I would point you to our new show, NECAT Now, which will start taping in January. One of the goals of that is to have people come on that show and talk about their shows. To give that, again, film those bumpers that we talked about, get all of you to do that so we can put it out and talk about those things. But also, I'm so glad to have all of you here tonight, because I think when we do a quarterly member meeting, that's something that it went away for a long time, and we brought it back. And I think this year, especially, it's been great to get people in a room, because you meet each other, new things stir up because of it. And you may not know that someone else is making this, and then you get to have these conversations. In the same way that we'll continue to do this next year, we have our quarterly meetings kind of already set up. We know where they're going to be. Come out and, it's like to some of these studio audience shows that we talked about. Forge Ahead's going to be a great one for stuff like that. I think, again, Mark's show, I think it's going to be a great thing for that. But absolutely, it's like if we could find a way to do, more gatherings, that's something we're looking at whenever it comes to, our movie screenings and our, it's like we've talked about doing, coffee talks in the morning where people can come by and just, hang out, and we can show some things kind of like this, but a little bit more informal, So we're working on things like that. And if you ever have ideas, bring them our way. We'll try to get them on the schedule. Anybody else want to step to the microphone, ask a question, or talk about their show? We'll call last call on this one. Yeah.
Hey everyone, my name is Camille Bubba. My apologies for being late. Thank y'all so much for all of NECAT's support this year. Super duper phenomenal. I have a television show. It's called The Cameo Bubbo, live in Music City. So if you've ever watched the Arsenio Hall back in the 90s, that show, or if you watch the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon right now, you need to get introduced to The Cameo Bubbo show. We're doing inspiring interviews, trivia, celebrity performances, and so much, much more. We film here On Saturdays, Sundays, sometimes even Fridays, and we usually film about 1 to 2 shows depending on the day. We air, of course, on Channel 19, like all of you guys. You guys can check us out on YouTube. We film in front of a live studio audience, and how you guys can help us is by telling people about our show, mentioning my name. That is my real name, Cameo Bobo. We are going to take over the world, and we'll do that if you guys tell everybody about our show. We definitely looking to support and connect with other shows, so if you see a way where you guys can come and connect with my show, please connect with me. If you see a way where I can come and support you guys' show, we'd love to do that. If you guys are into joining a team of people, we definitely always look for people to come and volunteer on our show and to support our show. And we are airing season 3 currently, and we'll be starting season 4 in the winter. And we've been we've been doing it since April of last year. So really excited about this opportunity in NECAD, and it's been a wonderful experience for my team and I, and we look forward to growing. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Cameo has done such a great job on getting volunteers for a show. Cameo, how many people volunteered on your last show? Do you know? Yeah. I was thinking it was somewhere around that. It's like, and that's a great size crew for that show. It's like it's a wonderful television program. Again, like if you want to see how you get volunteers, come work on one of Cameo shows. You'll see how she kind of puts all the people in the right spaces. Okay, anybody else want to step to the microphone, mention anything about their show? Yeah, please.
I don't even. We just gone. Okay, we're not gonna do that. Y'all not gonna embarrass me. Hi, my name is Marita. It's hard to go after Cameo. We love baby. Okay, y'all watch our show because I worked on it. It's great. Okay, please watch us. Okay. Outside of that, my name is Marita, and I have a show that just started airing this year. It's called The Read with Marita, where I provide readings, such as like tarot readings, psychic readings for guests. Patricia is one of my guests. She'll be in the next episode that airs for season 1, and we just taped season 2. And Dan was so kind to help, and I think that's the only one from this side of this section anyway. So please watch it on Mondays at 10 p.m. and Fridays at 1 a.m. Very similar to what we just heard. I think it would be really great for us to continue to do like cross collaborations, cross promotions, all these things, and it garners all of the energy and all that stuff, right? So that is mostly my little rundown. Please watch my show. If you have any questions about being on the show, if you would like a reading on the show, like to be a part, or have any ideas or tips about sponsorships or marketing, you just let me know, okay? Other than that, I'm so happy to see and meet all of y'all and some of the people that I had in my class and stuff. It's really nice to see y'all. Okay.
Marita's got one of like the coolest vibey sets too that I've seen put together here. Like, did a really good job of taking some of the same old stuff that you see on a lot of shows and turning it into something brand new. So, congrats on that.
She has volunteered on my show too.
Yeah. I do think that like volunteering on other people's shows is the best way to get people to volunteer on your stuff. It's also a great way to learn to see how other people do things, so you'll know how to do it and sometimes how not to do it. But it's just like we get a feel for it. You learn a lot by getting a different perspective, I think. So. Anybody else want to speak on the mic, ask a question, or talk about your show? It's a great time to plug your show. Audience in the room, anybody? Okay, well then I'm going to hand the mic over to Larry, Mr. Larry Jarrett from MPL. He's got some words to say in closing, and then I'm going to give the show to him to close it out. But I will tell you that our next member meeting is April 17th of 2025. Put that in your calendar now. We'll let you know a little bit closer to dates when that's going to be. But afterwards, stick around for refreshments, hang out, mingle, talk to each other. But Larry, it's all yours to close it out.
All right, I'll make this real brief. I'm Larry Jurek. I'm a division manager with Nashville Public Library, supporting NECAT Network, Library Production Services, and Information Technology. So on behalf of Nashville Public Library and our director, Terry Luke, I want to thank everybody for being here, for being members of NECAT. We appreciate all of you. Also have the privilege of working with Cameron, Sam, and Eric.
This guy. I think it's hilarious.
That'll be your new name.
Nope.
As well as Hannah. She's on our production services team at the library. She's in the booth back there. But I just want to thank y'all, and if y'all could all give them a round of applause. They work very hard to help y'all. I also want to thank our NECAT board for their commitment and support of NECAT and their leadership. Cameron mentioned a lot about changes coming, all of them very good. The hours change. These are going to be to do better outreach, collaboration between Nashville Public Library, NECAT, other metro agencies, as well as our community partners in Nashville. We're also making sure to invest in equipment to support y'all, to support the efforts of the outreach that we're doing. As far as building goes, I know that's been brought up. Cameron touched on it. The library is working with the mayor's office. The mayor's office is in negotiations with Nashville State for a lease extension. I think it is getting ready to be buttoned up and handed to attorneys to do whatever it is attorneys do. So that a lease extension will help us out because we have got to do the architect stuff. We've got to build out spaces, no matter where that's going to be. There's been mention of 2 or 3 different locations. We don't have a clue right now, at least as far as what we're being told. So we're kind of in the dark as well. With that, I hope everybody has happy holidays.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everybody.